In collaboration with Revell, I will be building their Audi R8 kit. They've sent it over for me to build and show you guys what's inside, so let's jump into the box, show the contents and go over them in a bit more detail, and then in the future videos start the build series itself. Originally, when this kit first came out, it was silver on the box itself, and now they've re-released it with a black version on the box. The kit itself is pretty much the same, the decal sheet is updated a little bit, and further it's pretty much exactly the same. So let's see what's inside. So the kit itself is actually pretty detailed. As you can see from just the chassis itself, it seems to have captured all of the details that I've seen on some reference photos from the actual cars, and it looks really good. And it of course does not stop here. All of those details go further with all of the suspension parts, the all-wheel drive system, the differentials, all the arms, and even some tubs for the wheel wells, and the disc brakes themselves were not left out either. And with all of that time and attention stuck into all of the chassis detail, the engine could not be left out, and of course they did not. The engine is molded in several different pieces, which makes it a lot easier to paint every single one in their own color, and also to add a lot more detail if you wanted to. But just from a top view, installing everything standard and just building it out of the box, this is a really cool kit to build with a lot of detail in it. And to add to that beautiful engine itself, there is also a nicely detailed engine bay. You can opt to have this in carbon fiber or just paint it black. Not sure which one I'm going for, as I've just done a really big carbon fiber project, so maybe we'll just leave it black, but who knows. The interior has been fitted with the gated manual shifter, which is a really cool option for this car, and also has a super nicely detailed out dashboard with all the vents and even a little screen in the center, some buttons around it. And of course, to finish that interior off for these parts, there are some door cards with an incredibly nice detail to them as well. The final couple parts for the interior are the seats, some parts for the dashboard, the pedals, and a nice steering wheel too. And then we're slowly moving over to the exterior with a rear bumper and the mirrors with the molded in markers for the side. And that is of course just as nicely detailed and finished as the rest of the parts. For more additional detail on both the exterior and interior, there are a couple more parts to be added. On the lights side, there are some really nice buckets for the taillights and also for the headlights with a lot of cool and sharp detail put into them. A super nice and of course famous Audi grille, some parts for the mirrors and the exhaust tips too. And on this one you get all of the black grills that are separate, so that makes it really easy to paint and assemble separately of course, and have a nice sharp contrast between the body color and also that exterior plastic. They of course did not leave out the shifter either, which is a nice separate piece too, and even the gas filler. They included the wheels as well. These are chrome plated. I'm not a really big fan of this chrome plating, so if I decide to use these wheels, which I probably won't, I would be stripping that chrome off and repainting them. Now I know from past experience that these wheels are a bit too small, so I'll probably be making some of my own, which are a bit bigger or fitting a custom set. There's of course also some rubber to stick onto those wheels. These are nicely fitted. They do have some of the casting material left inside that needs to be carefully cut out, and then you can easily slip them onto the wheels. As you can see, the rears are a bit wider and bigger than the fronts, approximately twice as wide, but nonetheless the thread pattern is really nice. The shape looks good too, but again probably a little bit too small for my taste. The final big sprue is the one for the clear parts. It has a nice surrounding area for the parts that need to be painted black, so you can easily just mark it off, mask it, and paint it with a crisp line. Same goes for the side windows, and of course there is some details for the LEDs in the ones for the headlights, and some more details. I think these are mesh grills for the inlets on the side, and of course the taillight lenses as well. You also get a super nice decal sheet. This is different compared to the one from the early release, I'm pretty sure, as it now has the optional carbon side plate decals in as well. I won't be using these as the decal itself doesn't really look all that great, although it is nice to have it as a template. It also comes with some decals for some of the speakers and all of the additional details surrounding the kit itself, including some white ones for the stitching on the seats, which is really cool to add. Now you have these decals here. These are for the mesh grills surrounding the car all around, all the inlets and stuff. And then you also get a nice extra sheet of mesh too, so you can custom cut those if you so desire. So as you can see earlier, most of the parts are molded in a nice gray plastic, and so is the body as well. All of the molding is really clean and crisp. It does have really nice panel lines all around, which pretty much don't need any attention whatsoever. Some of the details for the grills are molded in as well, but you could choose to just use the optional decals too. Since this is a bit of an older kit, it does have a bit bigger of a mold line here and there, but nonetheless with a bit of sanding that is easily removed.